Watch is brought to you by Spirit of Ogun Media, with proud support from Ire Ekiti Development Union and the National Commission for Museums and Monuments.
Orisha Ogun holds a revered place in Yoruba traditional religious belief, needing no introduction among the deities of Yorubaland. Join us on a captivating journey as we explore the migration story of the Ire Ekiti people and their belief in the Supreme Being, the Almighty God, worshipped through various deities before the arrival of Europeans and Arabs. Discover the unique form of Ogun distinct to the Ire Ekiti community, a form that diverges from its other manifestations in Yorubaland and beyond. Witness the connection between this unique form, the heroic deeds of the god Ogun, and its profound influence on the Ire Ekiti community. See how this has culminated in the annual celebration of the Ogun Onire Festival, a vibrant testament to the enduring legacy of the god Ogun in Ire Ekiti Kingdom. Ogun, the Yoruba deity, holds reverence across numerous African and global cultures. As the god of iron, technology, war and creativity, Orisha Ogun embodies bravery and justice.
Ogun is a god of justice, not just of war. He fights war in order to sustain justice, in order to ensue justice.
He's a warrior, he's a mercenary. They do call him to anywhere to assist. So, he's the god of iron. He was the one that invented iron. So he knows how to control it.
He stands for truth and the defense of the poor, the oppressed and downtrodden. Ogun is the patron of hunters, warriors, road users, and all who work with iron tools. Celebrated widely across Yorubaland, only two other gods in Yoruba tradition enjoy similar reverence. Ifa, the god of divination. Eshu, the god who delivers sacrifices and offerings. Experts argue that Western narratives have distorted Eshu by equating him with Satan in Judeo-Christian culture.
Foreign religions, they have terrible effects on Yoruba culture.
So, but when you now start mixing culture with religion, so that is where all this misconception comes from, and it has really affected the celebration of Ogun as a person.
In Yorubaland, the saying Terutomonim Bogun, meaning both slaves and freeborn celebrate Ogun, attests to his widespread influence. Known as Ogun or Ogun in Yoruba, Gu in Portuguese, Ogun in Latin America, his reach is global. Ogun is Oshi Imole, the leader of the deities, because he led them to earth in Yoruba mythology. This superior position earns him the title Olulano, and during sacrifices, especially blood offerings, Ogun eats first as the knife or machete is made of metal. He remains the leader and pathfinder for other deities, including Oshun, Oya, Ifa, Obatala, Osonye, Shango, and Yemoja. As a warrior and blacksmith, Ogun is acclaimed for clearing the path and leading other deities to earth.
Ìgbà tí àwọn òrìṣà yìí mẹ́rìndínlógún tí wọ́n ń bọ̀ wá láti ìkọ̀lé ọ̀run wá sílé ayé, wọ́n ní láti wá ṣẹ́tù láyé yìí kí wọ́n jẹ́ kí nǹkan máa lọ déédéé, kí gbogbo nǹkan máa rí bí Olódùmarè tó rán wọn níṣẹ́ tó ṣe fẹ́ kàn wọ́n rí. Ṣùgbọ́n ìgbà wọn gbọ́ pé igbó dé, kò sí ọ̀nà fún àwọn òrìṣà wọ̀nyí. Ògún òun sì ní àdá méjì ni wọ́n ní ó ní. Àdá tó ní yìí, ọ̀kan nínú àwọn àdá wọ̀nyí ni wọ́n fi ní ó la ọ̀nà fún gbogbo àwọn òrìṣà pátápátá. Ìdí nìyí tí wọ́n fi máa ń kí Ògún ní Olúlànà. Kódà nígbà tí wọ́n bá ń ṣe ọdún Ògún, ara orin tí wọ́n máa ń kọ lónìí o Olúlànà lárèrè kò mí, lónìí o Olúlànà lárèrè kò mí.
In the hilly terrain of Oye local government area in Ekiti State, Nigeria, the surrounding tropical forest encloses a people with a unique story about Orisha Ogun, known differently around the world. Beyond the alluring features of their beautiful town, where the inhabitants enjoy a cool breeze year-round, whether in the rainy or dry season, the people of Ire Ekiti have a distinct history and connection with the deity Ogun. This ancestral connection is unique to Ire Ekiti and unmatched by any other Yoruba town or culture associated with Ogun. Culture enthusiasts and scholars agree with the people of Ire Ekiti when they assert that because of this association, the panegyrics of Ogun would be incomplete without mentioning Ire Ekiti as the hometown of this revered god.
Wherever you mention Ogun, Alakaye, without mentioning Ire Ekiti, I think it's not complete. Anywhere. That is why when you listen to news at times, they will say, so that shows everybody knows about Ire and Ogun.
To us, people of Ire, when we talk of Ogun, our mind comes to our place.
Ogun was the first son of Oduduwa, the great founder of the Yoruba race, and he was said to be born in the ancient city of Ile-Ife. His delight in war is captured in Odu Ogundameji, an Ifa verse that reads, Ile ni mo ti jáde wá, ọ̀nà mi ni mò ń tọ̀, adíá fún Ògún ẹ̀jẹ̀ mo olúwọ̀nrán, adìgìrìgìrì ré bí ìjà. He was not born in Ire Ekiti, but migrated there through Ile-Ife, the cradle of the Yoruba race, and from there he fought his wars of conquest. And this ancient Ekiti town remains his final resting place to this day.
Ogun came from Ile-Ife with his son Ogundansi and their entourage. They came to establish the Ire Ekiti kingdom, and his son Ogundansi was the first Onire of Ire Ekiti. And while he came here, while he was here, while his son was king, he also stayed to solidify the kingdom. And during the stay, he taught the people his craft, which is blacksmithing and metal forging.
How Ogun ended his life's journey in Ire Ekiti followed the pattern typical of Yoruba great personalities in history. Apart from its unique association with the Orisha Ogun, Ire Ekiti has a unique history and political structure.
Àwọn ìsọ̀rí tó wà nílé kẹ́kọ̀ọ́ bẹ̀rẹ̀ ní ẹ̀ṣàpè ìkóhùn ọdẹ awo gbọ́n ló wà nílé gbọ́n ló lè ní ojúṣe wọn ẹlẹ́gbẹ́ wà nílé gbọ́n ló lójúṣe wọn. ojúṣe ẹlẹ́gbẹ́ ni pé àtijọ́ tó jẹ́ pé star wars máa ń wà àwọn ló máa fèsì àwọn ló ń jagun pẹ̀lú ìrànlọ́wọ́ ọdẹ àti awo. ọdẹ ní tiẹ̀ tí kábíyèsí bá fẹ́ ṣe nǹkan fọ́gbọ́n àmì kankan àwọn ọdẹ lábàáwọ̀ ẹran tá a lò dẹ awo àwọn ló ń ṣàdúrà ìlú tí ìka jòjì bá ṣẹlẹ̀ nílùú àwòrán lọ́ba àwọn adéfá òkìlá máa ṣe tá a borí ọ̀rọ̀ tó wà ń lẹ̀ àwọn awo àwọn ló máa ṣe àwọn adéfá ẹ̀ tí wọ́n bá dẹ̀ ti pẹ̀lú inú kan pẹ̀lú gbogbo ẹ̀ wá ṣe fà ní kan ṣe ti tuntun ẹ̀ kan ṣe kí ni àdẹ̀ tó rà iṣẹ́ tí àwọn awo nìyẹn. àwọn ẹ̀ṣàpẹ̀ tí wọ́n sọ ẹ́ àwọn náà ṣiṣẹ́ ìlú bóyá ojú ọ̀nà ò dáa báyẹ̀ bí kan tẹ̀rọ àwọn ẹ̀ṣàpẹ̀ náà wá pè kó ló tún bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe tàbí tí òkú bá kú àwọn ló máa gbẹ́lẹ̀ tà sí òkú ẹ̀ sí ṣẹ́wọ̀n nìyẹn.
Ire Ekiti is located in Oye local government area of Ekiti State. It has a distinct history that no other Yoruba town shares with it, which is that it is the town believed in Yoruba history to be the place where Ogun, one of the Yoruba's greatest deities, entered the ground. Also called Ire Mogun due to its connection to the Orisha Ogun, Ire Ekiti was not always known as Ire, and the town has not always occupied its current location. Historians say the town was once known as Igboirun. Today, the population of Ire Ekiti is approximately 27,000 inhabitants, according to government demographic records. The traditional political system of Ire Ekiti is monarchical, with a hierarchy of authority from the Onire, the king, down to the Elebi, the head of the household. The Onire is the constitutional monarch who performs executive, legislative, and judicial functions with the assistance of his chiefs who represent various quarters. Succession to the throne of Onire is hereditary. The Onire also performs religious duties on behalf of the town. The administrative headquarters is the Onire's Afin or court, where the chiefs gather with the Onire to make decisions for the entire town. Some of the prominent chiefs in Ire Ekiti today include Asaba, Ejelu, Oniyein, Eyelaye, Olomodire, Alawe, and Odofin, to mention a few. Ogun, first son of Oduduwa, the revered ancestor of the Yoruba people, was a blacksmith and a warrior. Master of iron and protector of truth, Ogun is the Yoruba god of iron, technology, war, roads, and creativity. Farmers and hunters revere him, their hearts beating in rhythm with the clang of metal. Ogun's son, Ogun was raised by Oduduwa while Ogun roamed the battlefields. Upon his return, Ogun welcomed him with a feast of roasted yam, palm wine, and delicacies. Overjoyed, Ogun bestowed upon his son the spoils of war, leading Oduduwa to crown Ogun Onire, the owner of fortune.
ṣùgbọ́n jagunjagun ní ó lọ́mọ kan sífẹ̀ tó wà lọ́dọ̀ Oòduà wọ́n pe ní Ògúndáùsì ẹ̀ tó bá ti jà lọ tó bọ̀ gbogbo àwọn ẹ̀kọ́ tó bá ti rí bútìs tó bá ti rí ọmọ ẹ̀ ló ń kó fún ọmọ ẹ̀dẹ̀ wà ní ọ̀dọ̀ Oòduà ìgbà tó yá ọmọ náà sọ pé òun náà fẹ́ lọ tẹ̀dó.
Forbidden to reside with another crowned chief, Ogundaunsi sought new lands with his father's guidance. They journeyed to Igboirun, where Ogundaunsi became the head of his people, the Ires, and Ogun taught them the art of blacksmithing.
Iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀dẹ ni mi ṣe ìran bàbá mi ṣe bàbá mi jogún bá èmi náà tún jogún bá lọ́wọ́ bàbá mi. Mi ṣe pàkúté ìbọn ọ̀bẹ òsèjẹ́lé ọ̀bẹ oṣù ìlàgbẹ̀ àdá àtọkọ́.
Their happiness was tested when smallpox struck. Guided by the Ifa oracle, the people migrated eastward, settling in present-day Ire Ekiti. Ogun returned to find his people gone, and in his search, he encountered a silent gathering at Umeru Sacred Grove. Misunderstanding their silence, Ogun's fury led to tragedy.
So one day, Ogun came back. He went to Igbo, he couldn't find his children. So he was worried. He started, parabolating inside the bush, looking for his children. He couldn't find them.
According to legend, Ogun, hungry and thirsty and exhausted from his search for his people, unexpectedly entered the middle of a group of warriors, having Ujo Uriki a silent meeting at a spot presently known as Ajo Uriki in Umeru Sacred Grove. They could not welcome or acknowledge him.
Because that time, when they were doing that type of meeting, they don't greet. If you greet, they don't answer. So Ogun was somehow annoyed with them and something like that. Something happened there. When they couldn't answer Ogun, he was very, very annoyed, and a person that is looking for his own children, parabolating inside the bush.
The smell of wine in the air aggravated his thirst, while the sight of standing kegs made him anxious to drink. Squatting to tend to his own needs, he was displeased to find that every keg was empty. He gave vent to his pent-up indignation by drawing sword and killing many of the people around.
But during that time, coincidentally, there was a prayer going on. They were saying a prayer. And after the prayer, there will be an applause if they believe that the gods have accepted their prayer. So while he was moving away, there was this applause. And that infuriated Ogun because he thought they were mocking him. So he engaged them in battle because they were warriors. They also defended themselves. Of course, they were no match for Ogun. He killed a number of them and some managed to escape. So he went away. The ones that escaped, they got to the palace. They reported to Ogundaunsi.
King Ogundaunsi, recognizing his father's actions, prepared a feast to appease Ogun.
Roasted yam, palm wine, snail, tete. So he prepared everything, took in drums and everything, and they went there looking for him.
So after eating and drinking, he knew that there was no one that would have known his preference, his choice of food, except his son. So he realized that he has killed some people by mistake. So they begged him to come back to the town. He refused.
Realizing his error, Ogun left, encountering a man who offered him palm wine and roasted yam.
And on his way, he met a very, very important person, because without that person, the Ogun would not have stayed in Ire Ekiti because he was already going away. That man appeased him, begged him, gave him roasted yam and some palm wine. And so Ogun, after eating, he felt sober. He now said he would not go away.
So he stayed with that man permanently until he said, anytime you need my assistance, just come there. And they were going there, he was assisting them in everything until one day he drew his sword, put it on the ground, sat on it, and disappeared. And that is the place where we worship him till today.
Reconciled, Ogun promised to aid his people whenever called upon, driving a sword into the earth at Oju Shrine, where he vanished.
And that man that appeased him, that made him to stay, that man is now known as Elekwe, which is still a title up to today. So the children and the children of Elekwe, they now hold that title, Elekwe. That's the one that appeases, the one that pleads.
The man who appeased Ogun became known as Elekpe, and his descendants became custodians of Iju Shrine, never seeing the king of Ire again.
If you see
Umeru Sacred Grove, the heart of Ire Ekiti, stands untouched by time and human hands.
this forest, nobody enters. Left and right, nobody enters. Whether to cut bush, to vegetable, or to pick snail, nothing. Even to pick herbs, nobody enters without serious consequences. So, and it has been like that for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Unlike other sacred groves in southwestern Nigeria, its vast biodiversity shields itself from all encroachers without the need for customary or Western laws. No one dares to hunt, gather, or till its sacred ground, as immediate consequences are well known by the community. The forest is a representation of the spiritual and earthly world. It is a sanctuary of highly revered shrines that lay the foundation of the Ire community. It plays a very significant role in the celebration of Ogun Onire Festival, which takes place in August every year. From a distance, the fresh air whispers solitude and reverence. Silence reigns, interrupted only by the songs of birds and the rustling of small creatures in the trees. The path to the shrine is flanked by lush, green plants, creating a vibrant corridor of nature, a testament to the enduring spirit of Umeru Sacred Grove.
Every Yoruba market, real market, no be shop right. Every Yoruba market has a center where they say prayer. So, and that is this. And that one is super because
at the center of the forest is the Oduoja Umeru, which used to be the historical market square. The present relics at this spot bear testimony to this fact.
Okay. So this stone now is one particular chief, the head of the warriors. This is where they sit.
Ojueruloja Shrine at the center of Oduoja Umeru is the spot where all the major spiritual activities of the community are held.
The chief priest and custodian of the Umeru Sacred Forest is the
Aoreru,
who must come to say prayers at the
Ojueruloja
3 times every day, morning, afternoon, and evening. Leading the film crew, the Basharu of Ire Ekiti explains that this hallowed ground only welcomes human footsteps during the Ogun Onire Festival. Festivals preserve the cultural heritage of societies, and Yoruba festivals are no exception. They honor deities like Oshun, Ifa, Shango, and Obatala, celebrating their heroic deeds and attributes. The Ogun Onire Festival, as old as the Ire Ekiti people, is celebrated uniquely annually in commemoration of the heroic exploit of Orisha Ogun and to seek his protection from war, epidemics, famine, and sickness.
Travel particularly ọmọ Ire tán bá travel Ògún yẹn máa save wọn nínú accident. Ó máa help wa gidi o. Nígbà wo ẹ máa ṣàdúrà báyìí ẹ máa ṣe everything ó máa gbàdúrà wa ó máa ṣe everything so ó máa gbàdúrà wa. Ọdún ṣe dáadáa ó ṣe dáadáa nínú ayé la. Ọmọọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ ṣàìyẹ ọmọọ̀rọ̀ ẹ̀ ṣàìyẹ. Lárúbí accident àti shopping nínú kẹtẹrẹ àdùn.
Ogun's significance in Ire Ekiti's history earned him the title Ogun Onire, the owner of Ire. This legacy is honored annually in August during the Ogun Onire Festival. August translated to the Yoruba language is Orisha Ogun, the month of Ogun. The festival's activities include drumming, dancing, and booming guns. A significant aspect is the real act of war in Umeru Forest, where people in the past attacked each other with machetes, and only those who are sure of immunity to the effect of machetes took part to remember the battling spirit of Ogun. But now, participants use lashes, celebrating in thousands. Around the New Yam Festival in August, the Ogun Onire Festival goes beyond merriment. It is a time for Ire Ekiti people to thank Ogun for past blessings and ask for new ones. The town transforms with sons and daughters returning from around the world every August. Teenagers use palm fronds and adults use sticks and canes during the grand finale. Despite drawing blood, participants embrace and continue the flogging, preserving the essence and heroism of Ogun. Torí pé báyìí máa ṣe lọ́dún yẹn kò kí rẹ̀ wá ẹ̀ẹ̀kan lọ́dún ní báyìí máa ṣe nìyẹn sà á máa ṣe àwọn aléṣe bòyàn kì í kú sí. The festival also involves dog sacrifices, raising the prices of dogs in the region during that period. Major activities of the festival include Ijamole, the washing of images 6 days before the festival, and Ijemole, painting the effigies of major orishas 2 days after. Uyeno, the clearing of the bush path to Umeru, is done 2 days to the festival, ensuring a clear path on the festival day. Ifa Ire. A sacred ritual sees the Ifa oracle consulted by the Elegbe and town chiefs seeking guidance for the Ire community as the Ogun Festival and New Year approach. This ceremony takes place at Akete Olomodire on the eve of the Ogun Festival. Women are prohibited from witnessing this revered event. The festival dawns with rituals performed by the Iyeni and Udo quarters. As the sun rises, Chief Elepe leads other Ogun devotees in prayers at Oju, while the Awo Ogun leads other Ogun devotees in prayers at Ile Ogun. They appease Ogun's spirit for peace and harmony in Ire Ekiti using sacred items, dogs, kola nut, palm oil, salt, and palm wine. Later, at Iyeni quarters, the Orisha Ogun move through the town for atonement and appeasement of the deities, warding off evil. Custodians of the shrines lead the ritual of dog sacrifices, followed by other celebrants. The Ojishes, led by the Eyemole camp in Ile Ogun for 2 weeks starting from the eve of the festival. In the morning of the D-Day, they move around town visiting important spiritual heads, chief priests, and market heads to deliver the Ogun message to them and pray for a peaceful celebration of the Ogun Onire Festival. In return, cash, food, and other items are offered to them as gifts. They then proceed to Umeru Sacred Forest to offer prayers before they return to Ile Ogun.
In Ire Ekiti, each quarter and several families hold minor effigies inherited from their ancestors. Some of these effigies are Olukege, Eyeoyi, Osorogun, Erowo, and Ajimuda, just to mention a few.
In the morning, these effigies pay homage at ancestral tombs with dog sacrifices and blood poured beside the tombs. Carriers step thrice with their right legs, water poured on them, and then they dance to traditional drums around the town. At around 2 p.m., the town bustles with life. Large wielding youth accompany effigy carriers of
Otolo,
Orogun, and Alatoju from Uju to Umeru Forest for rituals, stopping at Ukpara Otolo and other spots. It is a taboo for these effigies to meet face to face with Ire Ogun and Obutu Ogun. They are therefore hidden before their arrival. At about 4:30 o'clock in the evening, Ire Ogun and Obutu Ogun begin their journey from Ile Ogun to Umeru Forest, amidst celebrants chanting battle songs and wielding canes. Guarded by fierce-looking men in uniform, they proceed to the
Ojueru Loja,
circling it many times to complete the annual ritual. After Ire Ogun and Obutu Ogun depart Umeru, Otolo, Orogun, and Alatoju emerge from hiding to complete their rituals. The images then embark on a flamboyant return journey amidst pomp and pageantry back to Ile Ogun and Uju, not to be seen until the next Ogun Festival. On the first market day after the festival, the Ojishes process through the town to the central market, Ojaoba, to execute a symbolic market raid. They visit stores and shops, picking whatever goods and items they desire, and the sellers receive prayers in return. It is believed that the victims of this raid are compensated spiritually with abundant sales and profits.
ìyànjú tí mo lè gbà wọ́n ni pé tán bá ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ ọjà ọdún níjọ́ márùn-ún òní nǹkan tán bá ti béèrè lọ́wọ́ wọn kún fún wọn tán bá tún wá náà jọ́ mẹ́sàn-án nǹkan tán bá ti béèrè lọ́wọ́ wọn kún fún wọn wọ́n dẹ̀ máa ráǹfààní bẹ̀ orí ọ̀fẹ́ á wọlé fún wọn.
àwọn olè kò tán máa ń ṣe lẹ́yìn òkú tán máa ń súre káàkiri inú ọjà àwọn ló ń káàkiri báyìí lẹ́ni wọ́n gbàdúrà fẹ́ free body pé kó túbà kó túṣẹ́ bó ṣe rí ògùn yẹn dẹ̀ lọ dáadáa inú mi dẹ̀ dùn.
wá ń ré ọjà bá a ṣe máa ń ré ní gbogbo ọdọọdún nìyẹn ó dẹ̀ ń tùbà ó ń túṣẹ́ kò sí wàhálà àdúrà dẹ̀ máa ń gbà èyí tó ń bọ̀ náà lágbára Ọlọ́run àdúrà tó gbà.
Thereafter, the Ojishes return to Ire Ogun with their loot, and they will go ahead to complete their 2-week spiritual campaign. During this camping period, visitors troop into the shrine from far and wide for prayers and spiritual counseling. Ogun is universally acknowledged as an indispensable god in the Yoruba traditional belief system. He is celebrated everywhere in Yoruba-speaking regions, whether by individuals or by the community.
Ṣẹ́ẹ̀kọ́ Ògún kò tó sójú nìkan ó rìn láti bìkan sí bìkan ní ó rìn láti bìkan sí bìkan ní àní kò dẹ̀ síbi tó dé tó ṣoore fún wọn. Ó dé Ṣakí ó dé Oǹdó ó dé gbogbo ibi òní tẹ́ bá wo Ògún lédè ní gbogbo ibi náà ti ṣàjọyọ̀ ẹ̀ gbogbo ibi ló dé àtẹ́bàdẹ̀wọ̀ òrìṣà tó wà lẹ́ Yorùbá òkun ló kárí gbogbo ilẹ̀ Yorùbá pátá ìṣe Yorùbá nìkan lọ sí Bàṣí lọ sí Kúbà.
Ogun is known by various names, including Ogun, Lakaye, Oshimole, Olulano, but all refer to the same deity. The different forms of Ogun, such as Ogun Alara and Ogun Onikola, are primarily distinguished by their modes of celebration. It must be noted that only Ogun Onire accepts the sacrifice of a ram from the Onire, as only a son worships his father with a ram in Yoruba tradition. In other places, the celebration of Ogun often involves masquerades. The Ogun Onire celebration is more elaborate, featuring carved effigies of Ogun, his mother, and his wife, rather than masquerades, as there are no masquerades in Ire Ekiti. In the past, efforts have been made to transform the Ogun Onire Festival and the Umeru Forest into significant tourist destinations, complementing the Ikogosi Warm Spring Resort and other historic sites in Ekiti State. As if these efforts are set to pay off, Wale Ojolanre, a former Director General of the Ekiti State Council of Arts and Culture, once assured that the government had a deliberate policy to showcase the state's cultural products to the world.
Nǹkan tá a fẹ́ pẹ̀lú Ogun Onire ni pé status tí Ọ̀ṣun Òṣogbo status tó ti get náà la fẹ́ kí Ogun Onire get.
And the many government officials who attended the 2024 edition of the festival have reiterated this commitment, including Mrs. Rahina Garba, the Acting Director of Monument and Site of the National Council of Museum and Monument, who gave assurances of the federal government's commitment to seeing that the Umeru Sacred Grove is transformed into a national monument. only time will tell if these promises will be fulfilled.
The good news is that United Nations has now taken this upon themselves to make sure that cultures are not eroded. So they have what we call World Heritage sites, and those are sites that are preserved. So they make sure that those sites are preserved and those cultures are not eroded. So they have come in now, and they are working on, and they are working through the National Council for Museum and Monuments.
Tí UNESCO bá sì lè sọ prove ìdá World Heritage Site, automatically festival tá à ń ṣe nírántí Ògún yẹn òun náà á dá World Festival tí gbogbo àgbáyé máa wá. À ń ṣe iṣẹ́ yẹn pẹ̀lú Bureau of Tourism Development, Ministry of Arts and Culture and Creative Economy tí mo jẹ́ commissioner ẹ̀ ló wà in charge gbogbo àwọn kan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn, àṣà, ìṣe, ọdún, monument, site gbogbo ẹ̀.
The uniqueness of Ire Ekiti, which attracted Ogun and his family to establish their settlement, is still evident today, both in geography and in the celebration of the Ogun Onire Festival. The importance and appreciation of Ogun remain the foundation of this festival, which celebrates Ogun, the founder of Ire Ekiti. Having identified the attributes of Ogun Onire for posterity, the stakeholders, Onire, the people, and the cultural industry must work hand in hand to sustain the festival. Government must be involved in the celebration to make it more popular. Whether viewed as the path maker who cleared the way from the gods to mankind, the entrepreneur who produced fire of civilization, or the warmonger who protects the weak but can also be fearsome, Ogun has become a 20th century deity. He has overseen not only iron foundries that gave rise to modern civilization, but also pioneered other scientific pursuits beyond metallurgy, including electricity, electronics, and related fields.
If you've enjoyed this video and like to see more content like this, please help support our growth by giving a thumbs up, subscribing to our YouTube channel, following our various social media handles, and please do send us a little donation to help us continue making more content like